At your best, you are love. And so I want to tell you that at your best, you are love. At your worst, you are love. So I want to go ahead and get started because everybody needs a foundation. Anything that is going to be built needs a foundation. And different people will tell you different things about this foundation based on their faith paradigm. And what I want to tell you is that the faith paradigm of someone else will not help you build a foundation upon which you can build your destiny. We all have a path and at least an earthly destination. You know, we are going to have a beginning point. We're going to have waypoints or milestones along the way. And at some point, we have a destination. And destination is tied to destiny. And you have to have something that you can build upon. Now, for me, and I say this not just for me, but this is almost a universal constant, that I believe that you have to start with why. That why, if you think about it in terms of building material, why is not the foundation, but why is the concrete. In other words, this is the basis, the matrix of what holds your foundation together. And I believe that everybody should start with why. Now, some people have a principle that they begin with. For some people, it's truth. For some, it is integrity. For some, it is honor. And if any of those things are coupled with your why, then they are all valid. They're all valid foundations. Mine, personally, is love. Love is my foundation. It is the empathy and compassion that I have for humanity and that I expect from humanity that builds the foundation upon which everything that I think about, everything that I speak about, everything that I write about, it is literally the foundation. Now, again, I always say your mileage may vary. For you, it may not be love. And I get it. I mean, but here's the thing, that love is a universal constant. And I believe that if we want to have things in life that we want to have, that has to begin with love, because the power of attract, or the law of attraction, says that you can only expect what you project. So if you're not projecting love, you can't expect love. And a lot of the things that you want and desire, you even need out of life, you don't find, because they are not rooted in love. Let me stop here for just a second. I need to check and see if we are actually broadcasting, because I don't want to be running my mouth. And yeah, and it looks like we're there. Okay, so that being said, I want to make sure that everybody has or knows how to start with their starting point. Find out what it is that you think the world needs. What you think that the world would be better if this. And when you find that thing, that ties back to your why, or better yet, That is an indicator, a key indicator of your why. And when you get to that, you begin to have something that that you can build on. You can build a business on. You can build a family on. You can build relationships on. You can build community on. Matter of fact, you can actually build your destiny on that. And when you somebody told me once that if you find the thing that irritates you, the thing that just so I would not say irritate because I want to make a distinction between irritation and agitation. Irritation is just something that's physically uncomfortable and it makes you mad or it makes you uncomfortable. Agitation, on the other hand, is when something gets inside of you that makes you want to stir things up. And that's like the agitator in your washing machine. It's like your clothes really won't get clean just with soap and water. They require agitation, and this agitation helps to loosen and remove the dirt. So think about this, that when you find something that agitates you, that you then become an agent of agitation in the world for that thing. And we have to have that. That's the easiest way of finding a point where you're that a convergent point with your why, because a lot of us know how to do a thing. One of my favorite stories, anecdotes, was of a young man who was a physician, a surgeon, and he was attending a banquet with his family that was given in his honor. And basically, this young man, people stood up and they gave testimonies about how this man was a wonderful surgeon, how he had gifted hands, how he had this awesome bedside manner, how he had this empathy and compassion for humanity, that he had all of these things, all of these fantastic things that made him just like the most fantastic physician ever. And so when it came time for the young man to speak, he stood up and he began to weep. And then his weeping went to wailing. And at this point, he's crying uncontrollably to the point where his parents have to gather him up and get him out of the banquet. And then when they were in the car, his parents began to speak to him and they said, we don't understand why you're behaving like this. All of these people have come here to honor you, to pay homage to you. And here you are, you're crying. What is the problem? And the young man said to his parents, this banquet was for you, not for me. He said, you decided you wanted me to be a physician. You wanted me to be a doctor. You pushed me and prodded me and made everything possible for this to happen. He said, I simply wanted to be a violinist. He said, I was good at the violin. As a matter of fact, I was great at the violin. And it was every time that I played the violin, my heart was poured out. But you chose this for me. So no, this was not for me. This was for you. And that anecdote has really stuck with me because there are so many of us that are trying to do things that we're not, we may be qualified to do, but it's not in our spirit, not in our passion, not in our range of desire to do. And so when you look at your foundation, you're not necessarily looking at what it is that you may be good at. You may be good at some things. You may even be great at some things. I think about Curtis Martin, Hall of Fame running back of the New York Jets, that he never wanted to play football. When he did his Hall of Fame speech, he explained how he never wanted to play football, uh, but it was his way out of the ghetto. It was his way into a free college education. It was his way into a realm where he was able to have a tremendous income and a fabulous standard of living. But he wanted to help humanity. And so now what he has done is he's established a number of charitable foundations and trusts through which he's able to help humanity, because that's what he felt his calling or his gift was, that he wanted to do something to help humanity. But he found his way through something that he really didn't want to do. And so this is the and my wife frequently reminds me of this, because I went through this phase where I absolutely hated my job. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And then I kind of got to a point where, okay, I see where I'm able to be a blessing to others through this. And now I understand that this is a part of what I'm able to do. It's not the why, but it is something that has been given to me. It's something that I've managed to unearth and to find and to appropriate into my life. So it's not good for me to curse this thing. And that was a lesson, because my wife would always say, why do you curse this thing that has provided such a wonderful standard of income for us and our kids? And you're good at it. People know you. You're a recognized quantity in your space. And so she taught me not to curse this thing, even though this is not what I want to do. I want to speak and teach and write. I want to do these things. However, until such a time comes that I produce some content that is able to push me over that edge, that this is where I am. This is what is producing a blessing in my life. So there's no reason for me to curse this. And this is going to help somebody, because what you don't want to do is cut off your nose to spite your face, as they say. Don't look down on that which has been a blessing to you, that which has helped you, because there are things that may be helpful to you that you may not want to do right now, but they are a blessing to you, and you may be a blessing to others through that. So never put down that which is helpful. And that brings me to another point, because when you find your foundation, what you will have discovered is the thing that contributes to your highest and best use to humanity, or your highest and best contribution to humanity. That the thing that moves you, the thing that agitates you, the thing that you feel like that if this doesn't get done, it's not going to get done. If I don't do this, then it's not going to happen. When you find that and you tap into that, you'll find what your foundation really is. And once you have a good foundation, there's almost nothing that you can't build. The Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, the Burj Khalifa is more than half a mile tall. And that is an astounding feat of engineering. But what you don't see are the 25 stories beneath the surface of the Burj Khalifa. You see, it took a foundation 25 stories deep in order to support a half a mile up. So that means that you have to develop some depth, some substance, something at the core of who you are that you can build upon. And what happens is that once you have this foundation, again, whether it be integrity, whether it be honor, whether it be truth, whether it be love, whatever you have found your foundation to be, that when you get here, you'll find that from here, thoughts will spring forth, and these thoughts will grow into words, and these words will go into habits, and these habits will become an integral part of your character, and this character will set forth your destiny, and this destiny is the thing that you do that lives on after your mortal self goes away. That is exciting. Listen, I think of so many people, Dr. King, Steve Jobs, JFK. I think about all of these people who have said and done things that were so magnificent that even after they have gone on to an eternal realm in the spirit, that they have left something here in the earth that is so profound, that is so tangible, that is so helpful to the rest of humanity that it leaves a legacy. And that's what your destiny is. Your destiny is your legacy to humanity. And let me tell you something. I want to give you some encouragement here, because this is something that is available to everyone. And as a matter of fact, I will dare say that it is necessary. It's important. It is vital that your legacy lives on. And this is the key part. Because a true legacy that lives on is a legacy that helps humanity. You see, people become famous or legendary because of the hope, the help that they imparted to humanity. But then there are people who are infamous. They are infamous because they use their gift to hurt humanity. And so this legacy, this destiny that they leave behind is not one that is positive or favorable, one that is not helpful, one that does not leave something that moved humanity upward or forward. It's something that tried to hinder or hobble humanity. And what you know, your gift, your why, your foundation, is something that can either be used for the good of humanity or the good of a few or just one. And when you do that, that's when your legacy runs the risk of being one of infamy, or worse, that your legacy simply dies. You were created to be a part of God, of Source, of creation, that impacts the world in a positive way. You are the salt of the earth. That is, that you are a life-giving mineral, and you are the light of the world. And this light and this salt, they are life-giving entities. They're there to help shine a path on humanity, to provide a preservative for humanity, to provide a seasoning for humanity, to provide photosynthesis, a type of feeding to humanity. You know, that when Jesus fed multitudes, it was an illustration of how each of us are to feed humanity. It had nothing to do with a miracle of multiplying fish and loaves. That just makes it too spiritual. But it's actually to show you that when you bless and break what you've been given and you begin to multiply it, you begin to share it, and it begins to feed, and people are sustained by what it is that you have in you. So I want to give you some encouragement today that start with the right foundation. Go back to your why. And then go back to what is it that I think I need to contribute? What do I think humanity would be missing without my input? And then go do that. Start writing it down. And then when you start writing it down, start doing it. Do the damn thing. And then when you do this, what happens is that when you begin to do something that's for the good of humanity, it's like sending out a radio beacon. It's like sending out a signal that other people who have a vision to help humanity, they will begin to zero in on your frequency, and people will show up to help you. A lot of times we wonder why. Why is it that my vision isn't coming to pass? And when your vision is simply tied to your benefit, it's like to say, hey, look at me. Or it's to say, hey, let me do this so that I could be rich. That's not a vision that will come to pass. Now, you might be able to get there. I'm not saying that you won't, but it will never play out the way that it's supposed to, because unless your vision is to help humanity, it's really pretty much for nothing. So when you find your foundation, you start mixing the cement of why. And then you begin to pour out your why into your who, your what, your where. And you begin to pour it out. And then from there, you'll begin to build pillar and post, beam and girder, wall, floor, ceiling. You'll be able to add meat to the bones of what it is that's in your heart. And when you do that, people will begin to see what you are erecting. And I promise you that people, when they see what you're doing and that is there to help humanity, people will partner with your vision. And you'll be able to build something magnificent, something wonderful. And that is the thing, y'all. We want to be part of the wonderful. We want to be a part of the extraordinary. And we want to be a part of what was changed from impossible to possible. So that's what I have for you today. And I hope that that's encouraging. Start with why, and then build your foundation from there. And when you do it, people will see what you're doing and they'll want to help, especially when you're doing it for the good of all humanity. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to hit me up at www.derekday.com. Click the link marked contact, and then it'll give you a form. You fill out the form, and it'll send me an email. And I appreciate everybody who has sent me emails so far. I am really, really, really blessed by them, even the ones that disagree. I'm still just blessed to hear from you all. And you can also hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. My handle is Derek E. Day. That's DERRICKEDAY. And you can also catch this on YouTube because it'll be uploaded to YouTube. And also a couple of other things I want you to make sure you check out the Heretic Happy Hour podcast. And you can find it anywhere you can find podcasts. But the Heretic Happy Hour consists of myself, Katie Valentine, Keith Giles, and Matthew DiStefano. And just three of the most extraordinary human beings that I get to share space with. And I'm just blessed to be a part of that and excited. I mean, I look forward to every episode that we do, and I look forward to listening to the episodes, and I look forward to reading everybody's comments. And also you can check out the Forward podcast, which is my own podcast. And got some new episodes coming up this week, so I'm excited about that. And then also my blog on patheos.com. It's called Love Minus Religion. You can check me out there. And that pretty much covers it. So I want to close with a new affirmation. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be full of peace. Namaste. I see the light in you. Namaste. I see the God in you. Stay blessed.